Who likes to be loved? No one, right? Yes. So let me talk about the Lawrence and the Marches. Is Laurie, the boy from the Lawrence house, had an exquisite and luxurious and a comfortable house, but there was no comfort. There was no motherly love for him. There was no one to speak and express love for him, and he was missing his companions. He was missing friendship. While the Marches, they had a shabby house. It needed whitewashing, but they were four sisters, very loving, very friendly, always involved in fun and frolic and fights too, and they had a loving mother. Therefore, the four sisters, Meg, Amy, Beth, and Jo, were very loving, and they had always different kind of ideas of adventures, and they enjoyed life to the fullest extent. Jo was very caring. She cared not only for her sisters but also for her neighbors, and Laurie was one of them. Jo, when she first meets Laurie, she is very surprised that why does this boy not talk? Why does this boy not mix with people? But she had a curiosity to know what is inside the Lawrence's rich house. Yes, they had a house which is rich, which had comfortable sofas, luxurious beds, carpets, marbled and tiled floors, but their richness was not enough to call for love, motherly affection, and their richness didn't have the warmth and to welcome people with an open heart. So Jo missed it all. Thus Jo understood wherein Laurie needed the affection, and she was all upright to help Laurie. Jo gets introduced to Laurie in a party where she finds that Laurie has a cold, and she finds that Laurie is overtly protected also by his grandfather, who doesn't allow Laurie easily to mix with people because the grandfather cannot trust people. Of course, there are reasons behind this. So Jo takes a mission. Jo takes a mission to talk to this Lawrence boy to make friendship. And is Jo successful in this? Let me read out. Do stay tuned and don't go away. Just like any other child, Laurie wanted to play. He wanted to love life, live life with friends. But by nature, he was denied. By nature and by his grandfather's overprotective nature, he couldn't actually easily mix with people, and so he was always a shy child. Jo, on the other hand, she had a wonderful nature, a very vibrant, a very friendly girl. Laurie lived in an extravagant house, a wonderful building, yes, a mansion which had beautiful cars, which had a beautiful entry outside, but Laurie lacked love. Laurie lacked the warmth of a mother. Laurie lacked friends. And again continues the story wherein Jo comes to meet Laurie in his house. But how did this happen? Right. Now the garden separated the Marches' house from that of Lawrence. Both stood in a suburb of the city, which was still countryside, with groves and beautiful trees and flowers around and lawns. A low hedge parted the two estates. On one side was an old brown house, looking rather bare and shabby, robbed of the vines that in summer covered its walls. On the other side was a stately stone mansion, plainly betokening every sort of comfort and luxury, from the big coach house and well-kept grounds to the conservatory and the glimpses of lovely things one caught between the rich curtains. So here lies the twist, my friends, that the two houses, one was Marches, another is Lawrence, and the Lawrence is quite rich, but they did not have people enough to talk to. And thus it was always a house of curiosity, of interest for others, because here, as I read, it is written that people could catch the glimpse of lovely things between the rich curtains. Yes, as they peeped into the rich curtains between them, they could understand there are very extraordinary, they are lovely, there are costly things in and around the entire house. But what was there inside the house? Not many knew, because they were not neighborly, they were not friendly. They here means the Lawrence. Yet it seemed a lonely, lifeless sort of house, for no children frolicked on the lawn, no motherly face ever smiled at the windows, and few people went in and out except the old gentleman and his grandson. To Jo's lively fancy, this fine house seemed a kind of enchanted palace, full of splendors and delights which no one enjoyed. She had long wanted to behold these hidden glories and to know the Lawrence boy, who looked as if he would little be known if he only knew how to begin. Well, friends, we have a lot of complaints many times, isn't it? About our house. Why don't have my own individual room? Why does not my room have an AC? Why this, why that? But for the four sisters, their shabby looking house was like a palace for them because they were always very lively, always happy. They always gave each other company. While the house, which was actually rich, actually very posh looking, which had money, extraordinary fortune inside, did not have people to talk to, did not have a motherly face, did not have friends where people could go and play around. So we can understand that yes, life is not only about richness, it's not only about luxury and commodities, it is also about speaking and talking and expressing with friends and sisters and also with neighbors. So this lesson is one of a kind, I would say. Next, what happens? To Joe's lively fancy, the fine house seemed a kind of enchanted palace, full of splendors and delights which no one enjoyed. Now Joe goes out of home and she goes with a broom. She soon sweeps a path. She swept the path all around the garden. That is, she swept the snow around that had fallen, accumulated. The snow was light, and with her broom, she swept the path all around the garden. For Beth to walk in when the sun came out and the invalid dolls needed air. Well, Jo was very caring. She cared for her sisters. She wanted to make a path for Meg to come out as soon as the sun is out.